What's up, nerds? So I'm coming at you late, I know, but I just want to say real quick. I have some family stuff going on, so my videos are always going to be late now because I can't avoid that stuff and all that jazz. Okay, so Superman and Lois, the series finale. You guys, I have to just say that I did think that a couple things were rushed, and I understand why, but also that I did think that this was a meaningful and touching end to the series. And I will talk about that in like a series review, if you will, at the end, just a short one, just to like wrap everything up. But this episode was good. It wasn't my favorite of the season or the series, but it definitely was good. I really love this show. This episode was bittersweet because it's like, you did it was like you got to see everything come full circle, but then it also ended and you're just like, man, there was so much they could have done. Like I really would have liked to see a season with Brainiac as the bad guy, but what are you gonna do? You can only go so far, and then you're just like, all right, it's that's it. All right, so I'm gonna break this sucker down and everything, and then tell you my thoughts at the end. But I just I mean, like, really, I'm so bummed that this show is over. I really am. Okay, all right, let's get into this breakdown. Here we go. Okay, so Lois convinces Superman to let the twins help him, while Lana and an injured John assist the family in knocking out Doomsday with John's hammer. Okay, so one thing that I did like about this was we got to kind of see the perspective of the Doomsday Superman fight, but through, Lana and John's perspective while they're in the bar having like a day date. I don't know. But because I was like, I really want Big Sugar to have his own little, thingy, but it's fine. It's fine. We're never gonna get that. I'm over it now and everything. But I did like this fight sequence, and I liked how, John's all like, I gotta help and everything. And then, I did like the slow motion when he was coming to punch him and he was like, oh, what you got, bitch? And then like the hammer just bam, ow, bitch, right in your forehead. And then he's all like, I got to take him to the sun. So as Superman flies Doomsday to the sun to weaken him, um, Doomsday awakens and he sacrifices himself and gets all burnt up, toasty in the sun. And so I really, this part I didn't really care. I don't really care for a sympathetic Doomsday, in my opinion. Like I just don't. I'm fine with it for this show because they needed to wrap it up. But I just know, like, when he's about to like punch Doomsday into the sun, he's all like, no, it's okay. I'm just gonna float off into this big ball of light and everything. And they kind of did a flashback of his Lois and his world and everything. But I was just like, huh. I was like, I don't know how to feel about that. Like, I didn't hate it, but it was not my favorite ending. Oh, excuse me, to Doomsday, But at the same time, I wasn't like pissed off about it. I was just like, okay, that's fine. I get it. So then Luthor, he attacks McCoy, right? Because she's turned against him because she sees he's a psycho. And he shuts down this broadcast that's intended to expose him, and he incapacitates the twins in the process. Because he's got his super suit with the kryptonite and everything. And I thought the action sequences, like the fight sequence, although short in this episode, I did think that they were good. I when he's following Amanda in her little car, and she's like, you can have your shares back, and I'm like, honey, this is not the time to get brave, and then Lois is on her little microphone. She's like, this is Lois Lane reporting from the Gazette in Smallville, and then the power goes down, and you're just all like, you guys, what'd you think was gonna happen? Like Luthor's gonna be like, yeah, sure, tell everybody my secrets. Like, get out of here. So John and the DOD, right? They arrest Milton, while Superman rescues Jordan, who revives Jonathan. So John, this whole time, he's like, I gotta help, and he does help. And I like how they go and arrest Milton. Milton, by the way, for being Brainiac, I use that term very lightly. He was a pushover, a little pussy boy, which is fine. He looked like a pussy boy. He looked like I could take him, anyways. And then I did also like when Jordan was like, "Please, please, please, let him be okay," kind of thing with Jonathan. I did like that because it just showed like their brotherhood and the fact that they're twins, and I'm a twin, so I totally get that. Like my twin brother is just like he's like my best friend, and just like when you just I don't know how to explain it when you have a twin brother. I mean, maybe brothers and sisters have it, but like I just have a connection with my twin brother that I just don't think I can have with anybody else. And it's just one of those things. So yeah. So in the final confrontation, right, with Lex, right, Superman destroys Lex's suit and defeats him on camera. So they're fighting, and I did, even though again this fight sequence was short, and Superman's all like, "This ends now," and he's like punching him and everything, and he puts that little thing and it blasts and everything. I did like when Lex Luthor, and this isn't like new, like we haven't seen this before, but I still did like it when Lex shoots that little like little drill bullet, and it's like drilling into Superman's chest, and he's like trying to stop it, but it's still drilling. And I was like, "Ooh, that's good." I like those little things. I mean, we've seen it in movies and TV shows before, but I can't deny what I like. You know what I'm saying? I just like that. But he defeats him on camera. The world gets to see. And, I'm all like, "Listen, Luthor, you mess with the bull, you're gonna get the horns, fucker." And he got all, the horns and the fists, the fisty fists and everything, and they played punchy punch, and he lost. So we flash forward to 1 year later, right? And Lois is officiating John and Lana's wedding. Chrissy and Kyle are raising their son and expecting another one, while Sarah has been studying abroad in Greece. And Luthor is put away for life in Stryker's prison, where Mannheim is the top dog, and he gloats with Lex Luthor. So to break down every of the all the secondary characters and their storylines, because they like wrapped it up real quick. Like they were just like, "All right, wrap it up, guys. Let's wrap it up." So John and Lana, they get married, which I'm all like, "Look at you." And Lois officiates their wedding. I just want to say I've officiated a wedding. It's not that hard to, get certified or whatnot. You get a little card and everything, and a little like a not a diploma, but a certificate. Excuse me, sorry. I'm sorry for my yawning. Oh, so rude. Anyways, Chrissy and Kyle, they are preggers again, because they just be fucking, and they're gonna have another son, and that's their life. Because in Lois is all like, "Lana is the best of Smallville." And then Kyle was all like, "She was right. You're not. You're the best of Smallville. You're a bad bitch mom, and you're a great woman, and da 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 da." And me, I'm all like, "Oh, okay, yay, Lana." So I was like, and I just want to be like, "Alex, you're not that bad of a dad yourself." You know what I'm saying? And Sarah, she's just like I have to admit, even though I don't really care about this character, Sarah, they really, I don't think, wrapped up her character really all that great, because she just was like off studying abroad, and she's just like, "Yeah, it took me to get out of Smallville and to come back to realize that Smallville's not the place that I want to spend the rest of my life." And I'm all like, "Yeah, I get that. I get that, honey." But I just go like, way to be fucking original, Superman crew. You guys could write her a little bit of better story. It's fine. I don't care enough to where I'm like upset about it. This is not a character that I put a lot of into personally. So, but then Luthor, he gets put into Stryker's prison, right, and his appeal gets denied. And Mannheim's in there, and he's the top dog, right? So he's all like, and he gets put in a cell, Luthor, and then Mannheim's all like, every leader needs a good chair. You look like you'd be a good chair and everything. And I'm all like, "Oh, hand in pocket, Luthor, hand in pocket." You know what I'm saying? He could just fight him. I mean, I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, no, it was. I was like, okay, that's a fitting end kind of thing. So then, throughout the following 32 years, Superman continues protecting the world with the twins and the Irons. And Lois and Clark work with charities to bring attention to various world issues. The twins grow up and get married and have like several children, like a buttload of children. Then Lois's cancer returns and she passes away. And then afterwards, Clark adopts a golden retriever and names him Crypto. And then years later, after that, Clark passes away from heart failure, and he reflects on his past before ultimately reuniting with Lois in the afterlife. Okay, so they do this thing where his life is, they show what he does for the last 32 years of his life. Hold on, I need a little libation. Coffee. It is life. So, okay. I just want to say that even though I did like this this voiceover explanation of what went down, it was nice. And again, great send off to the show. It was so heartwarming, a heartwarming send off to the show. So he first off, him and the twins and the Irons, they are protecting the world. Like they're like a super team, if you will, and they all look great. Like I'm like, I'm at one point when I saw them flying together, I was like, I kind of would like to see an episode with them like saving the world a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm kind of like, I wish we would have got with just one more episode just to see what that was like. But I understand. It's fine. It's fine. He did go on to be like, me and Lois decided we were going to do more than just rescuing people around the world. And I'm like, why are you acting like that's not a big thing? I mean, like at one point in the show, I think it was season 2, you saved a fucking submarine. That's not a small feat, my dude. Like, what? like, I just want to be like, why don't you calm down? But they're working with charities. I'm like, oh, you're lifting some boxes and everything with some ramen in it. And look at you, Superman. So okay, so then they get old and he's like up in his house with Lois and everything, which was very cute. And the twins grew up into ugly dudes. I'm all like, what happened? Time was not kind to you guys. I'm like, you guys, they could have picked some actors that looked like the younger actors. I'm like, it's not like those two actors were like gonna win an Oscar. So it's like they could have just maybe just go and found some people that looked like the two boys that played the twins, at a younger age. It was fine though. It was fine. Everything's fine. They got married. And then the twins went to fucking like rabbits. Jesus Christ. I think they counted 10 kids or something like that. They were just fucking left and right. Like I was surprised the twins were out of bed like at that point in time because there was so many kids, like so many fucking kids. I want another baby. Anyways, so then they did have Lois's cancer come back, and she does pass away. And when she does that, she sees her dad apparently, right before she dies, and I thought that was touching. I because I did think that Clark would die before Lois, but but her cancer did come back. So what are you gonna do? And then he's like, and he gets Crypto. He gets which they did it as a golden retriever, and Crypto looked like the Crypto from Smallville, which he's like, I've never had a dog before. And I'm all like, okay, whatever. Like, I mean, like, it's fine. But at the same time, I'm all like, Crypto, is part of the Superman lore. And it's fine. It's fine. It's like, whatever. And so then he has a heart attack on like Main Street or wherever, right where his dad died. But he didn't die there. He went home, and he died at home with the twins, like next to him and everything. And I thought that was kind of touching because the twins got something that Superman didn't get with his own mother. And, they were with him at the very end. And I thought that was really touching because if you remember from episode 1, when his mom died and he heard her take her last breath, and it was before he got to be by her side. And that was really I thought that was touching, and then he totally goes Patrick Swayze from Ghost and like just comes out of his body. He's like, the second time dying was awesome. And I'm all like, what? What's going on here? He's popping up. He's seeing his kids and his life, and he's forgiveness. I'm like, you forgave Luthor, but like in the afterlife, what's going on here, Patrick Swayze wannabe? I was waiting for Whoopi Goldberg to show up, be like, hey, I'm Whoopi. I see your dad. He's right there talking to a ghost like Luthor. But so then, and then he's like, And then I got to join Lois, and he opens up the front door, and Lois is wearing that fucking god awful dress. This dress is foul. I'm a little bit of a fashionista, if you will, but I'm sorry. This shit is who is dressing these people? Like when they've got the whole, down on the farm look, they look great. But when they try to dress them up, I'm all like, listen, go to some thrift store, get some, vintage Dolce Gabbana or something like that, because this shit is not cute. Like, what's this red dress she looks like the devil's harlot, like I'm just like, this is not cute at all. But he joins her in the afterlife, and they're like, we're gonna spend our afterlife together, and I'm like, okay, good for you. And then that's where the show ends. And again, I really did like it, this episode. I'll say it again, I thought it was touching and heartwarming, and it was a good send off to the series, because I don't think there's too much that they could have done, and I mean, like, we all saw it coming, like the writing on the wall as far as Superman dying kind of thing, or at least I did. And so I just want to say overall, right? Overall, when it comes, I just like Superman and Lois is hands down one of the best superhero shows out there, And if you've been worried about the direction of Superman on the small screen, trust me, this show totally nailed it. I mean, Tyler Hoechlin's Superman is everything fans could ask for. I mean, he's vulnerable, strong, and a true human hero, who deals with real life struggles and, like losing his father and, raising two, super powered kids. And, and Elizabeth Tudyk as Lois, she is just absolutely perfect. She's, strong and determined, and she's a determined journalist who's not just, Clark's partner, but she's a fierce mother and a woman who faces personal and professional challenges, and she handles that stuff with grace and power, and I think that the show really balances the emotional beats with epic superhero action. Because when the action sequences were good, like that Doomsday fight in the first episode of this season was freaking amazing. And honestly, it was a breath of fresh air after so many years of people focusing on Superman's alien origins to get a real Earth human origin, if you will, of Superman. And what really sets Superman and Lois apart, though, it handles the Kent family dynamic. Is the way that it handles the family Kent dynamic. I mean, this show is all about nurturing and the importance of family, and both biological and chosen, because we get the irons and stuff in there and everything, and Lana and all that stuff. And that shines through in every episode, in my opinion, of this show. And I love it how it doesn't lean too hard into the Krypton mythology or make Superman out to be this like space Jesus figure, but instead it shows Clark as a guy who's deeply rooted in Earth, and raised by amazing human parents who taught him the values that make him the hero that he is until he dies. And I gotta give a shout out to the supporting characters also, especially John Henry Irons. His arc is solid throughout the entire show, and he's a badass with a hammer. Am I right? I'm right. I mean, this show had everything you could want. It had emotional depth, it had great action, it had family drama, and a Superman that feels real. Like, if you didn't watch this show, you were missing out, in my opinion. And I just really cannot emphasize like how much this show really, I think that again, it focused on Superman's human origins and just like the values that his parents, like the Midwest values that he grew up with, and just really like, and I think one other thing that I just want to say real quick, and then I'll end this, that this show did that I personally appreciated the most is it showed fathers in a positive light. One thing that really bothers me these days with modern TV is the dad in the show always gets the short end of the stick. They're shown as goofy, that they can't handle a situation, that they don't know how to handle their emotions, that they're not a protector. They're not a provider. All this stuff. It just like they're the goofball, if you will, of the show. But what I think this show did wonderfully with every single father character, even Lex Luthor to some degree, was it showed them in a positive light as a father. They loved their children. They did everything they could for their children. Even if they failed, they tried, and, I just look at, and it was on all demographics in terms of race. You have Clark, and then you had, John Henry Irons, and you had Kyle, I think that they did. I just really love this show, you guys. It was so good. And I will miss it. I'm going to miss it. Like, I looked forward to watching the show every week when it was on. And for me personally, these days, that's hard for me to find a show that I get this excited about. Especially a superhero show, because superhero shows are good ones are so far and few between these days, in my opinion. But that's the end of the era of the CW superhero shows, you guys. This was the last one. And this was the best one, in my opinion. But tell me what you guys thought about this episode and what you thought about the show overall. Are you like me and you just really loved it? Or did you think it was just a bunch of CW gobbledygook, But share all your thoughts. But say nice things, because it's a good show. But tell me what you guys think. Go ahead and leave all your comments in that section down below. If you like this video, go ahead and hit that like button. I won't mind. And if you're new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button. I'd greatly appreciate it. And please don't forget, you guys, to fight for truth, justice, and the American way. Bye, you guys.